Holy shit. Talk about an amazing 30 seconds. Honestly, I think the 30 seconds dedicated to the Super Bowl spot are at least 3 times more fulfilling than the extended trailer we got a few months ago. It really puts into perspective how close June is, doesn't it? So you know what time it is? Hopefully I can get this video up far quicker than the last one, because that one took way too long to make. Speaking of which, I think you should watch that analysis first, as I reference quite a few things in this video. Not as much as I expected though, as only one shot from the last trailer was reused here. Although I know bugger all about the sport aside from throw the ball around, I always like the trailers from this time of year, and between this and the Switch, it's shaping up to be a rather decent affair. Oh, and one quick thing before we begin, I'm leaving the comments on this time. YouTube's algorithm apparently doesn't promote videos that have no comments, so I have to put up with it. Please, no spoilers in the comments. I know some of you have read the leaked script, but some of us actually like to theorize about how the movie's gonna be. The trailer kicks off with what could be the other horn of Unicron. It's definitely not the same part of the world as the last one. There are differences between deserts, of course. The fact that we're getting multiples of these only strengthens my theory that Unicron is hiding inside the planet. Not all of the spikes are gonna be the 2 front teeth, and I'd imagine there'll be quite a few other ones coming from other parts of the world. What's also important to note is the sweeping shot of the helicopters. In my last analysis, I mentioned a structure Michael Bay likes to keep with. This takes place in the first act, during the build-up period. After a useless shot of Anthony Hopkins, being useless because there's no way to tell what he's doing without context, we get a closer look at the mech that the humans use against Bumblebee. Taking into account the location, this is almost certainly prior to the battle with Bumblebee. Now that we can see the mech properly, I really like the design. It looks like it came straight out of an 80s anime, with radar dishes, Macross-style rocket pods, and that gorgeous shade of green. What's also interesting about this shot is the inclusions of the Transformers Are Dangerous poster. These were used in the viral marketing campaign of the 4th movie, yet at no point do they show up in the actual film. I'm glad they're getting some screen time so that people who didn't know about the viral marketing campaign can at least get a proper look at them. Their inclusion confirms that humanity is still at war with the Transformers. I wasn't sure about this as the last trailer wasn't specific, however we now know that the Transformers are still under public persecution, and it also shows that Mark Wahlberg is indeed a freedom fighter. Speaking of, we have a sweeping shot of him lowering his gun. Given Michael Bay's directing style, it's likely that shit's about to hit the fan. You'll notice he's currently surrounded by human soldiers. So I placed this shot around the same time as this one from the last trailer. Then this shot adds a lot more to my Unicron theory. Considering the likelihood of him being inside Earth, the Death Moon may be an excavation device. It looks like the protrusions of the planet are scraping off Earth's atmosphere, possibly excavating Unicron out of his casing. If that's the case, I have no idea how they'll handle the finale. Just please don't make a self-destruct button like every other big budget movie. Next we have the return of Grimlock. And once again, Michael Bay is treating him like crap. Seriously, taken down by humans? Well, since it's confirmed he's going to be in the movie, I hope they give him a voice this time. This shot of the moon's protrusions could take place in 2 areas, on the ground or on one of the protrusions. Either way, without context, it doesn't make much sense. This one, however, actually provides context. You'll notice that the protrusions are creating their own atmosphere, just like Lockdown's ship. This pretty much confirms Lockdown got his ship from the same beings, likely the creators, that are currently attacking. What's interesting is that the following shot shows the helicopters after they've been attacked, but there's no connecting shot showing us the attacker. What we do see when they land, though, is that the mountainous areas are in fact on one of the protrusions. There is a whole ecosystem on this excavation machine. This changes the likely location of the previous trailer's shots. I originally thought they were on the coast of Britain, however this is likely not the case. This explosion shot is likely, once again, a preliminary one before the CGI is added. In my last video I explained that they often change the CGI between certain trailers and between the final film as well. From the amount of CGI in this trailer, it is clear that the post-production is a lot further along than I previously predicted, which is reassuring for the film's release date. As for who and where, we have the police in Britain. Not sure what context this is, but I presume they'll add Barricade in at some point. Just a theory though, don't quote me on that. This shot occurred in the last trailer, so there's nothing really to talk about. This one, however, did not. You might think it's the same as the last approaching shot, however it's a lot clearer and a lot closer towards them as a whole. You can also now clearly see the air bubbles in the water, so it's confirmed this is an exhaust port underground. However, considering how there's a spaceship in this trailer, it may not be to Unicron anymore. We then see a ship smaller to Lockdown's landing. Although I can't tell the purpose of this shot yet, it's good to see that the Transformers universe is growing to include other races. As for the eyes changing color, we actually see it this time. Whoever pointed this out on Facebook in the first trailer, thank you. However, I'm not too sure whether he's forced into submission or whether he accepts it willingly. The lines spoken do place some doubt in my mind.
Do you seek redemption?
My maker, I do.
Also, the creator is a fembot? We're getting fembots, we're getting fembots. Maybe the Mistress of Flame? No clue yet, and unfortunately it could be a Frankenbite, which is where they splice unrelated audio together. But if it's in the correct continuity, then finally the movieverse gets fembots. Just please don't add Windblade. She should stick to the comics where they can do her justice. Every other representation has kind of been an insult. Also, this is a comment coming from a Windblade fan, not a Windblade hater. I just don't want to see Michael Bay her up. Marky Mark wielding a sword, clearly on the Death Moon, we see him ready to lunge at someone. It's a good thing to see a human character that can actually do some damage for once, rather than Sam's pathetic running to save another character. But my main question is, could Cade in fact be the last knight? It could turn the title on its head, however it's more likely to be Optimus in my opinion. I don't know, just putting ideas out there. Another point of intrigue is his arm. For some reason, it's burned very oddly. If I didn't know better, I'd say it looks like metal. There's a similar burn, or a piece of metal, on his chest. What is this? Armor? A wound from an alien weapon? Could Cade be a cyborg? After getting another generic screaming shot, as Michael loves to use those, we finish the trailer with a few shots of Optimus and Bumblebee battling. There's something I want to draw your attention to though. In the last trailer I concluded that the final battle would take some place on the Death Moon. However, these new shots partially disprove that. Take a closer look at this tower. Look familiar? It's actually the same tower seen on the ship rising from the ocean in a previous shot. Also, as the trailer goes on, you can see Optimus and Bumblebee splashing around water as they fight. Finally, this tower in the distance is covered in seaweed, so we can safely assume this fight takes place on top of the ship that surfaced earlier on. It also explains the vegetation seen in the previous trailer, which I was a bit confused about. However, I only said it partially disproves that it takes place on a Death Moon because we can see that the protrusions definitely have their own ecosystems. It wouldn't be much of a stretch to say that somehow there's an ocean on one of them, because they clearly have their own gravity fields. How else would the helicopters be crashing there? Finally, in the title card, we've all seen the sword present on the logo. Many consider it to be Optimus's sword, however looking closer it doesn't quite look like it. The crossguard and handle in particular are vastly different. What seems to be a much closer match is the sword Cade Yeager is using. This main piece of evidence is what makes me think that he is in fact the last knight the title refers to. But hey, that's just a theory. A Transformers theory. Thanks for watching. Well, maybe not quite yet, as we still have a few things to talk about. Overall, this teaser didn't show off as much as the first trailer, however in the end I felt a lot more satisfied because almost every shot that we got somehow added to the context of the previous trailer. Some things were confirmed, others were corrected, but in the end the theories are running wild. Is this film going to be terrible? Probably, but at least it'll be decently directed and not take itself too seriously. Will I love it? Probably, unless they screw up the last act like Age of Extinction. Will it make plenty of money at the box office? Hopefully. I can get behind bad films like this because they're competently made. Anyone who thinks they are the worst films ever is seriously deluding themselves. They're bad, but not the worst of all time.